Hey YouTube, this is TCA Gaming. For the first time in several months, I'm making a video. The reason I have not been making videos recently is because of the transition from the retail store back to working from my home. The building I'm in now, you might hear a little bit of an echo because it is a new building that was just put up for business here. We built it from the ground up. It's been a learning experience, and I've really enjoyed figuring out how to build, a building from the foundation to the walls to framing to basically everything. It's been fun. But if you've noticed on Troll and Toad, I have been very active with sales. In fact, I've ramped up a lot of the older Wizards of the Coast stuff. I've kind of let sales dwindle a little bit in the eBay section of my store with the newer product. I haven't been trying to restock new stuff as often. It's just been mainly a focus on the older stuff because that's where I see the money at this point in the game. Pokemon's doing so many things right now just to scramble and try to get money, and it's not really good for the hobby. So I've been leaning back away from that stuff and focusing more on the older product. Now, if you're looking for specific sets and older stuff, feel free to reach out. I might have it. What's not going to be shown in this video, some of you saw the Instagram post with the sample cards. I did pick up the last 4 sets that I know of that were not in collectors, that were not in collections themselves. And from the way he tells it, he was the only guy, really the only supplier for the world that on those sets. And I'm going to give the full story behind the sample sets as soon as I get those back from PSA, which will probably be in a few months. Hopefully I can make at least 2 PSA 10 sets. They grade easy, but I mean, you never know. As most of you know from PSA stuff, they've been grading really harsh now. I mean, it used to be, they used to be pretty lax about stuff. I know the older graded cards, if you find a 7 or a 6 in Pokemon, it just looks like crap. But now they just, they tear apart a card for any reason. Like here's an example. You got a Sabrina's Gengar right here. It's graded a 6. I'm going to kind of flash it to you. It doesn't really have scratches in the hollow. You look on the back side. These edges are really crisp. To me, this is a, you got one little dot down here with some whitening, and it's kind of hard to see. Honestly, I could see this grading as a 10, even with that little white speck there, just because they miss, just a little bit of defect on a card, but easily a 9, and they hit it with a 6. I've actually got a stack of cards that I plan to break out and send in the cert up here so it doesn't throw off the pop port too much. But I'm going to show you some cards that I did get back on this return that I'm going to start with the 8s and then the 9s and then go to the 10s that I think were graded fairly. This is my stack here off to the side on the right that I plan to break out. So that's not too much for a bulk order. The ones in the middle I know for sure are graded fine or they're duplicates. And then there's a stack over here off to the left that I'm going to go back and check, but most likely they're graded correctly. So for the most part, PSA is really consistent, but they grade a lot harder now than they used to. I've heard people say that they think that PSA slacked off, but no, not in my opinion. I used to buy BGS cards and then cross them over, and it would always do really well in the crossover. Now when I buy BGS cards, they actually grade down, and to me that's pretty bad, especially when you have like 9.5s coming back as 8s and 8.5s. But anyways, we'll move on to the PSA stuff. So here we have, we got a Dugtrio first edition. It's a near mint 8. Now that might not sound like a good grade, but really, it's a strong grade for an older card. It's not like you're going to find too many of these just sitting around in collections. What you see in the background, I'll just go ahead and hit those before I cover them up. It's a PSA 10, a Red Cheek Shadowless Pikachu. You got a Dark Charizard first edition Gem Mint 10. You got a pre-release Clefable near mint 8. These are all cards that I pulled offline. I think I was selling that at the time for $200, and it's got an 8, and now I think it's worth probably at least 3 or 4 times that. And then you got this Dark Charizard here. I was asking on the high end. It was like $25 for the card. You can probably find a card for $10, $15, but I knew mine. When I say near mint, usually they're minty. And then you've got the Red Cheeks Shadowless Pikachu. It was probably like a $5–10 card, but now it's definitely worth more than that. Next up, we have just a base set Charizard, near mint, mint 8. For a while there, I went through and I bought maybe like 5 or so higher end Charizards off of eBay, because the way I saw it, if I spent $500 on 5 Charizards, ones that were claimed to be near mint, and then they all come back as 8s, you know, I got my money back. If they come back as 9s, then I'm going to double them, and then if I even got a 110 at all that, and then you could trash the rest of them, I mean, you're talking about close to $2,000. I mean, I'm not sure if the market's changed too much on that, but that's where it was when I first sent it in. Here we've got a Hitmonlee mint 9 first edition. Again, most of the time these are cards that I was already selling as singles, and I just decided, you know what, they're taking a little while to sell because I was asking higher end prices, and then I sent them off to PSA. Here we've got this is a gold stamped E3 Pikachu, just the regular yellow cheeks, but it did pull a mint 9. It's a very fair grade, may even be a touch high. Here we've got the Diglett with the fighting symbol error. I sent in most of my good ones of this that were 10 eligible a little while back. I think I got 5 10s out of that submission. It was really good, and then I got a couple 9s out of this one. Here there's just a base set Venusaur mint 9. Again, these are hard to pull, the 9s and 10s. I mean, that's why the 10s are fetching such a premium right now, because I mean, you have chipping around the edges. I mean, you could have a hollow curve. Some graders take off for that, some don't. And then backside, you could have edge wear. You can have little light scratches. I mean, it could be off-centered. There's so many things that could keep it from being a gem mint 10. Here we've got Groudon EX, mint 9. I just sent a few of these, never sent them in before. I actually didn't get any 10s from this or the Kyogre. I think they were a little harsh on them, but the 9 on that one was definitely more than fair. Same with this one. This is Evolution's Charizard, mint 9. I was expecting to get a few 10s out of these, but I did not. They maybe it was because it was slightly off center. It's funny how sometimes that matters, and then sometimes it doesn't. Got a first edition Dark Dragonite here. This is not the error. As you can see, it's got the hollow foil in the background. Pulled a mint 9. Got a first edition Dragonair from base set. Again, I mean, a 9 is a very respectable grade on an older card. Most of the time I don't break out 9s. I have a few times in the past when it made a significant difference and I thought it was a very strong 9 and it should have gotten a 10. Here's a base set Raichu, mint 9. Always like this artwork. I mean, everybody kind of does, because they know that infamous pre-release Raichu, but doubt that card is ever going to get any kind of authentication. Here we've got Machamp first edition PSA 9. It's just a standard shadowed one. I was hoping it pulled the 10. I thought it was going to, but it didn't. Again, that happens. Got Missy's Tentacruel right here, first edition. Just had a couple extra first edition holographics from Gym Heroes that I sent in. Lieutenant Surge. Again, it's a first edition and it's holographic. It's graded mint 9. And here we have the base set Charizard. This is another one of those that I had purchased for probably close to $80 or $100 raw, which is high for a base set Charizard, but it pulled the 9. Right now, I've actually inquired the PSA. This is not the first time I've done this. If they would grade uncut sheets, you know, do a similar encapsulation to how they do with the regular cards. I know in the past they told me they couldn't because of the size. It was based off of the fabricator that they couldn't do that size. Maybe they've changed fabricators. I mean, I'm sure most of you have noticed. I mean, they've changed these cases several times over the years that Pokemon has been out. Maybe they will. Who knows? I would be totally fine with paying very expensive prices to have an uncut sheet put into a scaled size of this PSA acrylic holder. If they can't, they can't. I'm probably going to try to design my own and go through, maybe even start a line through a fabricator, a plastic fabricator or plexiglass, but we'll see. It'd be a lot easier if PSA could just do it. So now we're on to the Gem Mint 10s. We've got a Butterfree here, and this is the D edition error. Pulled the Gem Mint 10. I'm not sure what, sometimes like why certain cards get 10s and others get 9s, but there's a lot of times there's not much difference. Here we have Shining Kabutops Gem Mint 10. I actually had this one set aside for a guy that worked at my retail shop before. He said some things and I had to fire him. But he actually had this set aside from months and months back, and he was supposed to purchase it, but he never did. That one, and I think a Shining Magikarp he was supposed to purchase as well. But after I fired him, and then he didn't pay for any of the stuff that he already purchased, so I was kind of stiffed about $1,000 worth of stuff. But this right here, this actually worked out pretty good because it come back as a Gem Mint 10, and I think when we priced it, it was like a $30 or $40 card. So it's been a while, and now I imagine that's worth at least $100, maybe $200 or more dollars. Here we've got a first edition Celebi, and it is holographic from Neo Revelation. This is one of my favorite cards when Neo Revelation had come out. Got a first edition holographic Ampharos. Of course, that's from Neo Genesis, Gem Mint 10. Here we got an E3 Pikachu. This one got the Gem Mint 10. Of course, it's not the red cheek, so the value on it is significantly less. This is the gold secret rare Mega Charizard Gem Mint 10. I believe this was actually a 9 and I popped it out. No, this was actually one that I had up as raw. I had 4 of them left when I took all of the older product out, and I just sent these 4 into PSA. I think 2 got 10s and 2 got 9s. Here we have an unlimited Light Dragonite Gem Mint 10. I really like this card. To me, it really brings back that era, and it's a Dragonite. It's a Light Dragonite. It's from Neo Destiny. There's a lot of appeal to me from that card. I think I saw this and I was just like, man, this has got to be a Gem Mint 10. So instead of just parting it out for $8 to $10 or whatever it was worth, I sent it in to get it graded. There was a revised edition booster box that I opened up from Magic because I bought it for the shop. They said they wanted it. They were going to play in tournaments and prize out the packs at worth of $50 a piece. And it just never happened. I ended up busting the box and doing that, giving away 2 packs, and then no one ever actually coming in for that. So that was definitely a mistake where I was kind of trusting other people. But I went ahead and busted the packs, and I pulled 3 dual lands, and then those actually all graded 9 and 10, I believe, and then I sent in a few of the others. And so like this one, this is Soul Ring Gem Mint 10. I mean, it's not a super expensive card. I mean, it's probably like a $3 to $5 card ungraded, but I thought it'd be cool to grade just because it's been printed so many times. Here we've got the Venusaur from base set. It did pull the Gem Mints in. I was very happy with that grade. I'm not sure why Venusaur is so much more available than Charizard and Blastoise. Maybe because it's the popularity. It's number 3 in there, and Alakazam is pretty close behind it from what I've found anyways. But it grades a little bit easier, I think, too. I did send in a few of the newer Shining Legend cards. That'll tell you how long I've had this stuff there at PSA, because I pulled these out of the pack and I just sent in a few. And this Shining Mew, it finally come back and had the Gem Mint 10. Well, these were pulled out of the pack, but they weren't sent in until I think it was late January. Here we got the Mewtwo GX, the secret rare from Shining Legends. It also pulled a Gem Mint 10 test tube. Then we've got the Mewtwo GX Hyper. He pulled a 10. I just like the way those 3 look in that set. Shining Legends is one of my favorite sets that have come out in a long time. Here we've got the Ho-Oh GX SM80. I actually had a guy open up a case against me, or he left a negative feedback because he said the texture on the card was not thick enough. He sent me a picture of it. I mean, it actually looked like I had better texture than the one that I had pictured. But I got a pretty easy guy to talk with on eBay, and he removed the feedback. Here's Demonic Tutor, Gem Mint 10. That's also from that revised booster box. I actually had one of these World Championship decks sitting on my shelf at the store. I didn't even realize that. I was asking $10 for it, and they actually have 2 of these in there. And then if you go look up this card, even as a World Championship card, it's like a $70 card, or it was when I sent this stuff in. And I sent this one in to PSA, and it come back at Gem at 10. I think the other one got a 9. To me, it looked exactly like this one. I mean, I didn't see any difference in it. So I may, if I don't find any damage, I may send the other one back in. This Dark Raichu was actually a PSA 8 before. I think I showed it on camera. It showed how I couldn't find anything wrong with it. So I popped it out and then sent it back in. Of course, it got a higher grade. I wouldn't have expected to go all the way to Gem at 10, but it did. We have first edition Dark Dragonite. Again, this is one of those cards that was just sitting on my side. It was probably a $7 or $8 card there. I guess this is this. Must not have put, or this is another Dark Charizard Gem at 10. I think I had the one in the background I was talking about. Got a Dark Blastoise non-hollow Gem at 10. Here's a computer search, and this is the shadowless version. For most of you who are around the shadowless cards, I mean, you don't really have to look at the date. You can tell by the color difference, and then sometimes there's actually a slight font difference too. But it pulled the Gem at 10. It come out of one of the theme decks I opened up looking for the Ghost Pikachus. And here's another Shadowless Red Cheeks Gem at 10 Pikachu. And then last, and probably the best, definitely not the least, is this Charizard. It is unlimited, but it pulled the Gem at 10. Again, this is one of those ones that I just bought off eBay, probably for $80 to $100. And it paid off in this case. It come back as a Gem at 10. So I'm always glad to see 10 on any kind of Charizard for sure. But the base set Charizard, it's hot right now, and everybody's looking to get these. I guarantee it's at least still worth $1,000. But when I sent it in, they were about $2,000. I know prices have come down a little bit on stuff because it's that time of year. But I've got a Shadowless Charizard and a first edition Charizard at PSA right now that I'm expecting to grade very high. I'm being optimistic in saying that I want them to get a 10, but I think one's an 8-9, the other's a pretty solid 9 grade. But there's a lot of stuff off at PSA right now. I'll try to make more videos. I've got some signed cards coming in probably tomorrow, and then the day after that I've got another bulk order that's coming back, but I don't think there's much good on it. It was mostly first edition energies, and then I sent off an order with the samples and another 173 card bulk order and some other things. Hopefully those won't take too long there. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Sorry I've been away for so long. Once I get this building finished, which hopefully would be within a month or so, I mean, I don't know, maybe I can show you my new office and how I plan to put stuff up around here. I definitely don't have as much as I did before because there's so much stuff off at Troll and Toad. We had already started building this place when Troll and Toad made the offer to let us sell on their site, and that just kind of changed everything. But anyways, if you're looking for some of this older product, you could check eBay for a real quick check, but more than likely it's going to be on eBay. Like if you're looking for the Gem at 10 E3 Red Cheeks Pikachu, I've got 2 of those sitting on Troll and Toad right now. And then there's all kinds of good stuff on there. I'm putting sealed boxes. A lot of stuff is a little bit higher end retail, but that's because prices keep going up, and it can pay off. So if you guys, if you're also trying to sell your collection, it'd be best to contact me through eBay still. I wouldn't try to contact me through Troll and Toad. It's just going to go to them. But anyways, thanks for watching. Hope I didn't bore you too much with all this extra talking at the beginning and at the end. But I'll try to get some more videos up soon. Thanks for watching.